students. Today is the fifth part of chapter reproductive health, first class biology, and the content of this part fifth is sexually transmitted disease, the mode of transmission, means how sexually transmitted disease are transmit from one person to next person. Then ARTs, assisted reproductive technologies, and at the last amniocentesis. First, sexually transmitted disease. What are sexually transmitted disease? As the name indicates, these are the disease or the infections which are transmitted through sexual intercourse or some other mode also, and that's why they are called as sexually transmitted disease or STDs. And the common example of sexually transmitted disease are gonorrhea, syphilis, genital herpes, chlamydiasis, genital warts, trichomonasis, hepatitis B, and HIV. These are the some example of sexually transmitted disease. And how these diseases are transmitted means what are the modes of sexually transmitted disease or mode of transmission of hepatitis B and HIV. There are various methods by which these disease can be travel from one person to another person. So first method is by sexual contact. By sexual contact with infected person. Uh, if a female or a male is infected with HIV or hepatitis B, and this female or male may undergo a sexual contact with its opposite partner, so the infection can be transmitted from infectious person to non-infectious person. Means the infection can will transfer from the diseased person to the person which is healthy. So first is by sexual contact, and second one is by sharing the injection needles. By sharing the injection needles. Suppose a person is using a needle and he or she is infected with this STDs, and this same needle is used by next person. This same needle is used by the next person, then the infection may spread. Then the infection may spread with the help of needle from infected person to non-infected person. Third is sharing the unsterilized surgical instrument. Sometime uh, during surgery, the instrument may also get infected, and if this surgical instrument are not correctly cleaned or washed or sterilized, then this instrument may spread the infection to the another person also. Fourth point is transfusion of blood from infected person to a healthy person. Means if the blood is transferred from infected person, means if a person is having HIV or having hepatitis B or any other disease, STDs, the blood is transferred from that person to another person, then through the blood then through the blood, the infection may persist. Then the infection may persist from infected person to a normal healthy person. Sometimes this STDs are also transferred from mother to the fetus. Mother to the fetus. Except hepatitis B, genital herpes, and HIV infection, other are curable. Means they can be uh, correct, or they can be cured easily, or they can be recovered. But once a person is infected with HIV or hepatitis B, the recovery chances are nil. The next topic is ART. ART is assisted reproductive technology. Assisted reproductive technologies. These techniques are mainly used by infertile couples. Means if the couple have a infertility problem, or the couple is unable to produce children, so these strategies, these technologies are used. So in the first point, the the couple unable to produce children in spite of unprotected sex is due to some type of infertility, and the problem of infertility may be in male or female. Means infertility may be in male or female. The reason behind infertility may be, means what are the various reasons for the infertility? Maybe the physical factor, the congenital factor. Physical factor means the physical deformities or the physical changes in the male or female body, or congenital means the disease that are transferred from genes or by birth. So it may also lead to infertility, or some type of drugs, steroid drugs may result in infertility, or some type of immunological response, even psychological response. Psychological means the functioning of brain. The infertility may occur, and in India, female are oftenly blamed for infertility. Special healthcare units or infertility clinics are set up by Indian government to diagnose or to provide the active treatment to have a child. These are the specialized clinics or units that are used for corrective treatment to have a child. When treatment are not enough, means sometimes if the drugs are not enough, or some treatments are not enough to have children, so these couple are assisted, or these couples are, you can say, suggested with this technique known as assisted reproductive technologies. So some important techniques are as follows. There are four techniques of assisted reproductive technologies. First is test tube baby. Second is artificial insemination. Third one is gamete intrafallopian transfer, GIFT, GIFT. Intracytoplasmic sperm injection, ICSI. Intra, I, cytoplasmic, C, sperm as injection, I. In short, ICSI. In third one, in short, GIFT. These are the four important assisted reproductive techniques that are used for infertile couple to have children, and it is very important for your board exam also. Uh, the question may come as, what are the various techniques that would be suggested for infertile couple? So you write this answer. Or if an infertile couple wants to have children, what are the various possible methods uh, can be used to have a children? So same answer will be written for this question also. Now we start with a test tube baby. What is a test tube baby? Test tube is the method in which sperm and ovum are fertilized. Sperm and ovum fertilized outside the female body in a test tube condition. In a test tube condition means sperm is taken from its male partner or a healthy donor, and ovum is removed from the ovary, and this ovum and sperm under ideal condition or under lab condition are fertilized or are fused in test tube state. And when this zygote will form in laboratory, then this zygote is introduced into the female body. Then zygote is introduced into the female body. So this is the artificial method. This is the artificial method. So this method comes under the in vitro fertilization, IVF, in vitro fertilization method, or test tube baby. So a test tube baby is the product of successful human reproduction that result from method beyond sexual intercourse. Means in this sexual intercourse is not needed. Instead, uh, it utilize means this method utilize medical techniques that manipulates both the eggs and sperm for successful fertilization. Means in this method, uh, we fuse sperm and egg for successful fertilization in artificial media, in test tube condition, or in vitro condition. And when the zygote is formed, then this zygote is transferred into the fallopian tube. And the method is known as GIFT. ZIFT. Z stands for zygote, I stands for intra, F stands for fallopian, T stands for tube transfer. So when the zygote is formed in test tube condition, then this zygote is transferred into the fallopian tube area, and after that the fallopian tube area, this zygote will move slowly, and it will attach at the you can say uterus area. Implantation will occur in the uterus endometrium layer, and first test tube baby was Lucy Joy Brown, and in India, first test tube baby is Kumar Harsha. Harsha. Name of test tube baby is Harsha. HARSHA. Now, next method is artificial insemination. Artificial insemination. Insemination. What is insemination? Insemination is a process by which semen are transferred into the female genital area or female reproductive tract. So, as the name indicates, artificial insemination, it is clearly represent that the semen is artificially introduced into the female reproductive tract, that is into the female vagina. This method is followed when the male partner or when the sperm count is low in the male partner, sperm count or sperm motility is low, then this method is followed. Means if the sperm motility is low, or if the sperm count is low, or if the male is unable if the male is unable to hold its penis erect during mating, if the male is unable to hold the penis erect during mating, then uh, the couple should suggested this method. In this method, the semen is collected from the husband or the healthy donor other than husband. This semen is artificially introduced into the female tract, or then this sperm will move, and it will ultimately fuse in the fallopian tube area with the ovum, or fertilization may occur. So this is known as artificial insemination technique. Sometimes this semen is introduced into the uterus area. So this is known as IUI, intrauterine insemination. This is known as intrauterine. I am highlighting this word, IUI, intrauterine insemination. Now next topic is gamete intrafallopian transfer. As the name indicates, gamete intrafallopian transfer. That means gametes are transferred. Gametes are transferred inside the fallopian tube. Gametes are transferred inside the fallopian tube. So male gametes are transferred inside the fallopian tube. So we can explain that a technique in which the male and the female germs are required to begin the formation of human embryo are injected into the woman's fallopian tube. Means these gametes are artificially introduced or injected inside the fallopian tube area, and then these both these gametes will fuse or fertilization will occur. This is known as gamete intrafallopian transfer. This why this method is followed means, suppose if a female is unable to produce ovum, so ovum is uh, collected from healthy female donor, and sperm is collected from healthy male donor. Both these gametes are artificially introduced in the fallopian tube. The female unable to produce ovum, but this female has capacity to sustain pregnancy, or this female has the capacity to maintain the pregnancy for 9 months, but ovum cannot be produced by its ovary. So this method is followed for the couple in which the female unable to produce ovum, but female is capable to maintain the pregnancy. This method can be used. Next is intracytoplasmic sperm injection. Intracytoplasmic sperm injection, as the name indicates, in this method the sperm is injected, inside the cytoplasm of ovum, in this, sperm is directly injected into the ovum to form the zygote, and then zygote will convert it into embryo in the laboratory. ICSI, intracytoplasmic sperm injection. This method is used, or you can say this method is followed in laboratory condition, and when embryo is formed in the laboratory, then embryo is transferred inside the female body. This is known as embryo transfer, or in short ET can be written. ET is embryo transfer. Now next is, what is amniocentesis? This is a very important topic also for your exam. Amniocentesis. During the development of fetus in 9 months, this fetus is surrounded by a fluid. This fetus is surrounded by a fluid. This fluid is known as amniotic fluid. This amniotic fluid help for the protection of the fetus. Means this amniotic fluid prevent the fetus from mechanical shock, mechanical injuries, some jerks, or it provide a cushion to the fetus, developing fetus. So in that amniotic fluid, this amniotic fluid is utilized to check the developing fetus. Means a small amount of amniotic fluid is extracted from the female pregnant body, and this amniotic fluid is tested in the lab so that the development of fetus can be understood. Means if the fetus is properly in developing state, then the amniotic fluid will be proper. If amniotic fluid content change, then it will easily help to diagnose the disease or some type of you can say disorder in the fetus. So what is amniocentesis? It is a procedure performed usually in the beginning of pregnancy to detect the chromosomal abnormalities in the fetus, usually done when a woman is between 16 to 22 weeks pregnant, means 16 to 22 weeks. And during this amniocentesis, a sample of amniotic fluid is taken from the amniotic sac or amniotic cavity surrounding the unborn baby, and its DNA is you can say detected, so that no genetic deformities or genetic abnormalities can be understood. This amniotic fluid has the cells that the skin of developing baby has shed, as well as his or her waste product. This amniotic fluid also contains the waste product, or this each cell from the baby in the fluid contain their complete set of DNA. Means this fluid contain the complete genetic information. This fluid contains the complete genetic information of the newborn, you can say fetus. So if there is change in the set of DNA or change in the genetic information, we can easily analyze that the fetus is, you can say, having any health issue or not having an health issue. The entire amniocentesis will take near about 45 minutes. And in India, some this amniocentesis is, you can say, misused, because by amniocentesis we can easily detect the sex of unborn baby. The sex of unborn baby means if the female baby or the male baby, we can easily, you can say, identify the sex. In case female fetus is present inside the female body, then some people in Indian society may lead to uh, killing that fetus. This is known as female feticides. So amniocentesis is banned in India because it is misused by some peoples to kill the female fetus, and this if the female fetus get killed, then the sex ratio or the sex balance in Indian community will disturb. So that's why this amniocentesis is banned. Yet it is very useful for identifying the genetic deformities. Means it is easy to identify the genetic disability, or it is easily to identify the genetic information. But when it is misused, so the Indian government ban this process. So this is all about in today's lecture. Thank you.